Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Ball chat.
Greetings and welcome to another riveting episode of BCN Half Time Show. This is your show, people. This is a weekly call-in show where, we should say this is led by the family. Anything you want to talk about, sports, ain't no for do all the, well, no, we not do pop culture. Too risky. But this is your show, people. BCM Halftime weekly show covering what has gone so far in the sports world. We have a lot to unpack tonight, and I'm joined by my co-host Benton. Wagwan, you good?
Yeah, man. Yell up, everyone. Blessings tonight. Wednesday, right?
Boy, the cricket nice. Cricket nice. You pop down.
Yeah, me need to because one cricket is on right now. A cricket game is going on right now. The qualifier between Amazon Warriors and St. Lucia Kings, and then we have a watch along Friday evening for the big game, So, and then the final after that. So, cricket, lovely cricket,
Yeah, I want to start off with that, with what we saw last night. I don't even have a graphic up. Let me see if we can find a graphic for it. But let's kick off. Let's kick off with last night as the Trinidad. What their name? Trinidad what? And the Falcons.
Trinidad Night Riders.
Night Riders, and they played against the Falcons, and it was a fiery game. It was a fiery game yesterday, and for all those, because we know what some people, BCN, we started primarily as a football show or football-based show, right? But then we decided that, what? People like cricket too, and we can't talk about the Caribbean and sports without talking about cricket. So we decided we're going to extend our horizons. So, big up Fabi, man. So one show tonight. Why Benton pop down? When there. But so last night, Benton, let's recap for me with your expert analysis real quick. I know you're tough it out, but your expert analysis what happened last night in the CPL.
I mean, basically, the biggest party in sports in the Caribbean currently, CPL, eliminate a game. Basically, the number 3 ranked and number 4 ranked teams in the preliminary in the round robin end of the tournament. Faced off last night. Trinidad Night Riders, the 3rd rank, versus the Bugside 4th rank Antigua Barbuda Falcons. And the winner of that encounter then will meet the loser of the matchup between the top 2 ranked teams, the St. Lucia Kings, number 1 rank, playing the Guyana Amazon Warriors currently. So whosoever loses this game will play the Trinidad Night Riders on Friday. We'll do a watch along for that one. The winner of tonight's game will go directly to the final, to the CPL final. And the winner of the encounter on Friday night will be in the final on Sunday. And basically what happened last night, it was a foregone conclusion. I think we all thought that Trinidad Night Riders was going to win the game. Nicholas Perrin, I guess he ate a lot of spices, a lot of curry chicken, and, came with his hot head during the reply. I think Antigua Barbuda Falcons made 166, and Poran, I think, ended up making 90 something, or something to that sort, because that's how aggressive he was playing, and they strolled. They won the game easily. A lot of emotions between players, talking a lot of trash. Poran had a lot of questions or questionable things he had to say, or maybe questionable behavior with the umpire, because he did call into question some of the umpire's decision live during the game, and that's not something you want to see. He did end up at the post-match apologizing. Said sometimes, in these games, the emotions get the better of you. And so he did have a long conversation with umpire Ryan Bannerweir, who he pretty much say, yo, yeah, idiot, because you give these things LBW, and these are clearly going down the line. So, but umpire Ryan Bannerweir need to get called idiot too, because some of those things that he gave out was just, him a blind man that, man. There's no way an umpire is supposed to give him that out. But the Trinidad Night Riders now sits and wait for the loser of this game, who they'll play on Friday night.
Yeah, and like you said, Puran, he ended with 90 runs off 53 deliveries. He had 3 fours, 8 sixes, strike rate of 169. Alex Hales was also finished with 54. With Colin Monroe was out early, making 14 off 12 balls. In the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons innings, though, Amir Django and Andreas Goals, I want to say they did put up a fight. Django finished with 55 runs off 49. Goals finished with 61 not out off 45 balls. I want to say no, not yeah. He finished with 61 off 45. He was out. I think he got caught. But the strike rate and their approach to the game was a bit slow, and that kind of, when we were doing the watch along last night, kind of turned us off a little bit. It turned me off a little bit in a T20 game, and I kept saying, if this was a one day, it'll be nice. But overall, I think it was a good game. I know the overall belief is Antigua was up against it. Trinidad and Tobago Night Riders is a top class team when compared to Antigua and Barbuda, but they put up a fight. They did put up a fight, and at the end of the day, it was good for West Indies cricket. Can we agree on that?
I mean, I don't even know. We'll see. West Indies touring India in a few weeks, and West Indies have other games to come. I think overall this tournament will help the development of some of these young players. That, to me, is the most important thing. Because Nicholas Perron already retired from international cricket. He's making so much money playing T20, so he doesn't play in club T20, so he doesn't need the West Indies team. And it's good to see young Jaden Seals bowl in conditions where are in a setup or in a game where the format favors the batsman, and as a bowler you have to figure out ways to kind of be economical and get wickets. I think Jaden Seals, one of those frontline West Indies fast bowlers in the test setup or in the ODI setup, is always a pleasure and great to see him continue to evolve along with Shamar Joseph, Alzari Joseph, and the rest of the group. But the greatest thing is just the beauty of the West Indies fans, and it's just it's lovely people, vibrant colors, energetic, food pot, soup pot, turn up, and just the energy of being at a cricket game. I think the CPL, the fans have been supporting the CPL, and I hope some of those funds stay in the Caribbean and grow those economies, because I know some of these teams are owned by people from the IPL, so some of those dollars probably going back to India,
Yeah. But and even if the money leaves, the experience is still priceless as well. And I think as we wrap up on the cricket discussion, I think the CPL, based on what I am seeing, surely over the last couple of years, the CPL must have add some energy to the youth. There must be some young kid right now in the Caribbean that is loving and enjoying the CPL and enjoying the energy that it brings. And they might be motivated to, instead of kick a football or instead of shoot a basketball, they go pick up a bat, a cricket bat. Pick up a ball and go bowl the ball, and you never know. We never know what this might transpire into, but I think there are some positives there, and I am all for the CPL. or for the CPL?
Yeah, I tend to deviate a little bit from the common narrative that that youths are not playing cricket. I think there's ample talent in the West Indies and in the Caribbean. I think enough kids are playing, and we see that with the young players when we watch them at the youth level. The problem that and yes, the problem is when they decide when to make that jump from the youth level to the senior team. The West Indies pipeline is piss poor, and we discard players too easily. And when they have a bad run, we don't have the right centers or academies to kind of guide them through that bad run. And the player that comes to mind is Adrian Barat. Adrian
Yes.
Barat was an opener down in Trinidad and Tobago, went down to hostile territory in South Africa, in Australia, did quite well in Australia, batting on a very difficult conditions. And then soon as he went into a bad patch, I mean, West Indies discarded him, and then it's like that was the end of it. So they're talent. Look at last night we saw Darren Bravo, doing Bravo baby brother, who was looking like the next Brian Lara. And so Cricket West Indies have real structural issues and handling talent from the youth level or mid developmental level to get them to the senior level, because you like Darren Bravo should be like at his pinnacle of his career right now, wrapping things up and excelling. But for some reason, politics and fight and vibes, and Chris Gayle, it kind of reflects some of that, because I don't know if many people thought. I remember when Chris Gayle played for the West Indies initially, he was very very astute, very disciplined batsman, batting long innings, and then he realized, say, yo, T20 is where it's at. He made triple century. I think he made 2 triple centuries in his career. And then once he figured he can make more money playing T20, him done. He pretty much had it with West Indies. So we need to do a whole heap things at the senior level. How to get those players and keep them at the senior level. I think with the CPL, I saw Weevil Hines, newly elected. When they member of parliament, Mr. Weevil Hines in Jamaica, put out a policy position or some sort of aggressive statement saying we need a sports. What him say? I think the position of the document was that we need a sports sort of policy or sports sort of commitment. And there's been rumors circulating that Jamaica is working on trying to get another CPL team next year.
I was waiting to retort to what Waver wanted by saying, "Dance a yard before you dance abroad, big man." So that's a statement that my father always said. I've learned from that. And let's start by getting a Jamaica team in the CPL first. So how about we do that?
Yeah, and we had the Jamaica Talawa in the CPL
At one point,
reason,
correct.
and for some reason the owners felt like they weren't getting the support from the government, so they moved the team. I think they're now the Patriots or somewhere down there.
Right.
All right, at the St. Lucia Kings. I don't know which part of them end up, but in fact, recently the owner was asked about the move from Jamaica, and he said it's one of the best moves they've made as a franchise, because they said when they left Jamaica, the government or whichever island that they are located now, I want to say maybe St. Kitts, has been very receptive, been very inviting, has been helping them to grow the game, and I suspect there might be some subsidies involved regarding taxes and all these respective things.
Of course.
So I think from a financial standpoint, they're doing well. Chris Deering, the CEO of Cricket West Indies, has been pretty vocal that we cannot continue to neglect the Jamaican market when it comes to cricket. He's been very adamant that with Jamaica's population size, it's probably one of the reasons why West Indies is so bad, is because you're ignoring a market with such a large population. So the talent The game is not growing, and the talent pool players that are going from Jamaica to the West Indies team are not very amount. Not like the most recent one is Ocean Thomas that I can think of, and soon as the man make a look of money, man say I eat some dumpling, I know him fat. You know, not like Raheem Carnwell. So let's see what happens. But watch along Friday night. Excited about the cricket. You know, cricket, West Indies cricket keeps us together. It's one of the things that I love about West Indies cricket. It's the closest thing to Caribbean unity.
And big up to all those tuning in right now. This BCN Sports, BCN Half Time, and it's your show, you know. So if you want to take part in the conversation, give us a call at 770-696-6040. I'm going to ask you for some patience. If you call in and something don't seem right, just go on, hold on, and then until we figure it out. All right? Sure. And also you can call us on WhatsApp at 352-745-0992. You can call us on WhatsApp 352-745-0992. So that's cricket, Benton, and we're talking about cricket. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, before you go, as the youth down at Barbados, I said, just giving a score update regarding the current game between Guyana Amazon Warriors and St. Lucia Kings, the defending champion St. Lucia King. Guyana Amazon Warriors currently batting 11 overs in. They're 82 for 2 with Shea Hope and Shamar Brooks at the crease. Hope 16 from 13 deliveries, and Brooks on 6 from 9 deliveries.
Yeah, let me see if I can put up the current score here. So I'll have a score update. Let me find it here. CPL T20. Put it up here. So I'll make sure I have a score here in the corner for all those. And big up to all those who are not avid fans of cricket. You have some people who has lost interest in cricket once West Indies turning you know what is West Indies, Benton? What because you know we have a patty shop over so. We have fish and chips at Manchester. What we call West Indies? That call West Indies a tourist destination.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just where teams come to take a tour and party and beat aside for 27, bowl out aside for 27. I just that. But the thing where I can't understand is that Manchester United fans, them loyal to Bugside Manchester United, but they're not loyal to West Indies cricket. Me don't understand that. The Caribbean Manchester United fans.
Well, you got to take it up with them. I mean, sometimes things that are closer to the heart carry more burden, you know. So.
All right, so let me ask you and BM, because since are the two sample size what we have right now, you loyal to West Indies cricket or you loyal to Man United?
You have to define loyalty though, because what is loyalty?
Loyalty for me with West Indies cricket, till I die, I will always support West Indies cricket. Simple being is that West Indies cricket was something that brought my family, my uncle, together. And we had an era of dominance and black pride and ability to say, yo, we can go and dominate this thing. We don't need no boy from over there to come and direct our thing. That's for me.
And Amazon Warriors now 83 for 3. I would still support West Indies cricket. I still support West Indies cricket. I would describe myself as a diehard West Indies cricket fan. I don't support England over West Indies or Australia over West Indies or Pakistan over West Indies or South Africa over West Indies. I am still, when it comes to cricket, I'm still a West Indies fan. However, if Manchester United is playing a game right now and West Indies cricket is playing right now, my TV is on Manchester United.
I understand. My TV is on the 27 where we get bowled out for West Indies.
I think. What them call that? Them call that sadist. I think them call that sadist.
I just that's over there, you know. But yeah, West Indies cricket for me is just, and like I say, it would be nice next year. I mean, I know World Cup is probably going to complicate matters, but we have to go watch and do some live from the CPL thing because the biggest party in sports.
Well, and like you said accurately, the the aesthetics is definitely top tier, and you don't see that anywhere else. I will say this: the aesthetics in CPL better than EPL. Well, let's move on. Speaking about big
Not
money,
even close.
not even close. Not even
EPL
close.
is foolishness.
Not even close. But speaking of big money and speaking of Die Hard and speaking of where the cookie crumbles, champion football started this week. And that's going to be the focus of the show tonight. Champions League kicked off this week. I'm going to run through the scores real quick so far. Arsenal defeated Athletic Bilbao 2-0. Union defeated PSV 3-1. Dortmund and Juventus drew 4-4. Benfica defeated that side, or lost to that side 3-2. Tottenham defeated Villarreal 1-0. Real Madrid defeated Marseille 2-1. Slavia Prague and Bobo Glint drew 2-2. Olympiacos and Panathinaikos drew 0-0. Inter defeated Ajax 2-0. Liverpool defeated Athletic Madrid 3-2. PSG defeated Atalanta 4-0. And Bayern defeated Chelsea 3-2. Benton, I know you were a little bit busy this week. I don't know if you got to catch all the games. Big up BM, big up, and BM said big up. Definitely some very entertaining games played so far this week. And how weird is it? Let me start off with this. How weird is it to say on a Wednesday night that some definite entertaining games played so far this week in the Champions League, which means that there'll be more Champions League games playing tomorrow. And let me just go through that schedule right now real quick before you respond to that, Benton. Bayern Leverkusen play tomorrow. Club Brugge play Monaco. Newcastle played Barca. Man City plays Napoli. Frankfurt plays Galatasaray. And Sporting plays FK Kairat. Benton, how weird is it to see Champions League playing on a Thursday?
Not really weird. I mean, they have a lot of games to get through with this new format, and as long as the games are meaningful, just looking at the schedule, I mean, Napoli versus Man City is probably the pick of the group. I suspect Pep Guardiola and Man City leadership are not very happy that they have to play this game Thursday and then have a turnaround. Play a big EPL game on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. So I suspect going forward there's gonna be some criticism of the schedule. But you know what? It's more football for the fans.
And like I said, the games have to be played, right? And you have to give that schedule. Surely them not run out of referees. It's not like said, we don't have enough referees. Can we just call it what it is and let's call a spade a spade. We have the Super League. Can we agree now that the Super League is here?
No, this is not the Super League. The Super League is not supposed to include bug teams. You
That is
call it Super League and look here. What is this team? One side named Karate versus Real Madrid. This is not Super League. Who this? Who this? Slavia Praha.
You notice some of the game them I don't even call the name them, right?
Yes, so this is not Super League. What is Bodø Glim, Karabag? That idiot side.
To be fair though, that was a good game today. That was a very entertaining game to be fair.
Karabag today?
Yeah, Bobo Glynn. However them
Bobo
on him.
Bodo Glim.
The Bodo game was a
Bodo
very
Glim
good game
versus
today.
the two bug teams play. Slavia Praha and Bodo Glim. 2-2.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
So this is the Super League.
Okay, well, a lot of games to unpack. You know what? BM asks, what are your thoughts on Real Madrid versus Marseille and Mason Greenwood's performance? Look, not because Mason Greenwood turned down Jamaica. I don't know about Greenwood anymore now. I really don't business about Mason Greenwood anymore. No, the big order of contention is the penalty that was given to Real Madrid. And something seems off because I'll be honest, that penalty that was given, I don't know if you got to saw the replay, Benton, but that penalty that was given for Real Madrid on the foul on Vinny, that was not a penalty. That's one of the worst calls I've seen in that's one of the worst calls I've seen in Champions League history. For a fourth official, for a VAR to go to replay and look at that and still deem it a penalty, that was egregious. That was just terrible. But it's about Mason Greenwood. I want to talk about the referees and the referee situation with Real Madrid. There seems to be something going on with Real Madrid and the referees. In La Liga, we see some terrible calls being given. Weekend gone, Real Madrid, the defender got a red card. I don't remember his name. The young youth got a red card for what was deemed a clear part foul, which was equally as bad a call as the Vinny foul, as the penalty was given to Real Madrid. So it seemed like the referees are reffing against them in La Liga. But in the Champions League, it seems like, well, this is Real Madrid, this is the standard bearer. Deserving must be pissed. Must be pissed off. You tell me what you guys think about that. I'm betting that if you get a chance, take a prips on that call. Real Madrid barely got away with a 2-1 victory with an egregious call. What is your take on the referee situation on a whole? Not using only today, but on a whole. Am I going crazy to say that Real Madrid is getting favorable calls all the time in Champions League, but not getting good calls in La Liga? Or am I crazy for thinking that?
Yeah, I think you're
I
crazy.
am.
Yeah, I think you're crazy. I mean, as ball chats, the referee told us all the time, told us on multiple occasions, the referees are humans. Even the VAR is a human, and they will make mistakes. The Vinny penalty today, it looks like that should have been overturned. And not be given as a penalty, but you know what? This is part and parcel of the game. We have these lofty expectations of referees not to make mistakes. They will make mistakes. And so Real Madrid sometimes benefit from it and sometimes they don't.
Okay. I'll take that. BM says the second penalty for Madrid was definitely a poor call. That's not a penalty. Look, you see, and I am normally one to give VAR referees the blind. I am one to normally sometimes be lenient. But there are some calls that if it goes to replay and you are sitting there looking at the replay and it's look off, come on, man. No, I can't say you win some, you lose some to that. No, a bad call is a bad call. And that was just terrible. Mason Greenwood had the assist for the goal that Marseille scored. We are going to respect BM question and ask when BM asks what's my take on Greenwood. It's a Champions League football, and Mason Greenwood, for me, as a Manchester United fan, I've seen this player grow, football-wise, from a young man, a young pup, to now getting his teeth cut. Like BM says, Marseille missed a few sitters. At this level, you have to take your chances. Greenwood and Pierre-Emerick talking about Abama who were poor in front of goal. Listen, this is Real Madrid. This is the Royal Whites. Anybody will be poor in front of goal if you don't have the kahunas going up against them white jerseys. Something about those white jerseys that, in my opinion, they're like it's like the Chicago Bulls Jordan 23. It's like the Pittsburgh Steelers yellow and black jersey. It's something about the Royal Whites in Champions League that's make a regular baller turn bug, make a good baller turn a regular baller. I know something about that. I don't know how you feel about that, Benta, but that's how I feel. But I won't kill BM for. I mean, I'm not BM. I won't kill Greenwood for that. And after all, he did have the assist. He did get the steal at the halfway mark, at the half line, broke off and got the ball off for the goal. So he did something good. Give some credit for that, right?
Yo, I don't pay attention to the brother. I never have. I never will. We don't really want to talk about no man who I beat two man enough.
All right.
And this is a family show over this side.
Over this side, so I'm to my side.
I don't know what I want because come like I promote some things around there. Yo, that baller when the name formerly of Manchester United, now of Marseille. Good luck to him and his development and growth. As long as just let me send out another reminder. Mason Greenwood, your name. No forward for Jamaica team.
No. That ship has sailed.
Steve McLaren said that they will continue to pursue him.
No.
And whatever happened to you in the Champions League happened to you. We don't care.
No. He's not coming to Jamaica anymore. That ship has sailed. I will make sure he doesn't represent Jamaica. Don't worry. We'll make some phone call and say, we're not upon that. The pick of the games though. I think we had some very intriguing games. I know there's one game in particular that we have to talk about, and I'm holding off on that because there's a lot to unpack in that game. But in the space of 5 days, 6 days, the old lady Juventus had two eventful games. We saw what happened earlier in the Scudetto, and we saw what happened today. Or yesterday. Today the game played when they drew with Dortmund 4-4. Benton, is Juventus for real, in your opinion, or them need to fix up them defense?
I mean, they've given 7 goals in the last 2 games in our competitions.
In under a week.
Yeah, under a week. Igor Tudor, the coach at Juve, you're not gonna win trophy them together, brother. I mean, one of the most famous quotes we can recall is when Amokachi in the 90s said that, if a side scored 21, Nigeria will score 22. And we don't know how that ended up for Nigeria, that big Nigerian team with JJ Okocha, Akini and others. So I kind of see the Juventus team with these defensive issues as in a similar boat. You can't 4 goals to Dortmund. Come on.
And it's a come from behind too. Cause they were down 3-2, and they had 4-2. And they had 2 stoppage time goals in Juventus. So I don't know. I don't know if Juventus is for real. I think it is admirable that they did come back. I think we have to give them some credit for at least fighting back and drawing the game. But them have to fix up them. Them have to fix up them defense. Speaking of defense, though, and I'm tossing up between which game to go to next. You pick Benton. And is Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid or Bayern Munich versus Chelsea? Which game you think we should talk about next? Because both games have a lot to talk about.
I mean, we can just anyone. Start with, Chelsea versus Bayern Munich. I mean, we didn't. Surely the football family did not expect Chelsea to beat Bayern Munich. Surely we did not. So I don't know what we need to talk about in that game exactly, other than.
Well, this is the world champions, Chelsea.
Plastic throw for that. Man.
And Bayern did play in the same world championships that Chelsea won. So these are two teams that played in the recently concluded world championships. And
and during that world championship, you kept pointing out Chelsea's favorable schedule and Chelsea's owner Todd Bowley is American.
Looking at the current looking at the
I
current.
Those things are lying, as you always point out.
Well, looking at the current social climate, I am going to strike those comments off the record. That was not me. I did not say that. That was AI. So Benton, let's strike those comments off the record. I did not say any such thing. But and the score here on the flyer have it 3-2, but they actually lost 3-1 because the goal was taken back. Chelsea's goal was taken back. Bayern. There was a stat that was said during the broadcast where they said that Bayern Munich makes it to the business end of the Champions League. I think 12 of the last 13 years. And when we talk about the business, we're talking about the knockout phase. But they just don't seem to get over the hump as much times as they have had the opportunity. Is Bayern for real, or is it smoke and mirrors? I think it is still good that they defeated Chelsea 3-1, but there are some question marks in that game, in my opinion. Maresca is pissed off about the Jonathan Tah tackle on I think it was on Diego on João Pedro. On João, I think it was on Jonathan Tah had a rough tackle, and Maresca thinks that it should have been a red card, and he's still pissed off, and he said that maybe they need to see blood in order for them to get for red cards to be given. But Chelsea had their chances. No, Chelsea themselves couldn't stop Bayern Munich, but the way how Bayern Munich is being deployed in these games is very hard. You have to have a very special team to beat Bayern Munich because they are throwing everything but the kitchen sink at you. They are truly playing with 10 attackers on the field, in my opinion. But do you think this can be successful outside of the Bundesliga, Benton?
I mean, that's gonna be the major assessment of Coach Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich. I mean, ultimately, he wasn't brought in to win the Bundesliga. You and I, Fabi, BM, Michelle, and whosoever, all the listeners are Balchak and Coach Bayern for win the Bundesliga. I mean, that's the gulf between Bayern Munich and the rest of the teams. Vincent Kompany has to figure out a way to win the Champions League. Ultimately, that's his true. Just like Julian Nagelsmann before him, Hans Flick before him, that is the real metric by which they will measure him. No, this defensive thing with Upamecano and Tah. Hey, look, man. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but it's Vincent cup of tea. This is the card he decided to hitch his wagon to. When they play against the big teams, the Real Madrids of the world, later on in these competitions, in this competition, this is when they will expose. Like Chelsea not gonna beat them because they have enough Arsenal to beat Chelsea.
Do you find it weird, or do you find it weird that a coach that was a defender, a world class defender in his day, have a team that don't seem to even be interested in playing defense? Do you find that weird, or do you find that as a trend? Do you think there's anything to that, or any take on that, or it's just the side we have?
Yeah, I mean, a world class defender, yes. I think if you ask Vincent Company this question, he will convince you how he plays defense. There's this really beautiful documentary on at least I think it was on Peacock, where he outlined his Burnley, when he was at Burnley, his style of play. So it's very risk heavy, but if they can get proper defenders, it can be quite effective. And so, they recover the ball high up the field, and that is part of the defensive effectiveness of this team. So, no, in this landscape of football, you have to attack. You can't play. No one love not drop again in a ball game, more or less. That no man not score one Bob Marley and then sit off like back in the day.
Yeah.
And so Vincent Company has to unleash the attackers. And the hope is that those holding midfielders can provide some strength and proper cover for the CBs. I am pretty surprised that Joao Pellegrini didn't work out at Bayern Munich. I noticed they got Malcolm Under back into the hole now. In today's game, Kimmich and Pavlovic in that hole. So we will see. And they also have Kim J on
Kim Jae-min, yeah.
Kim, yeah, so and they have Leon Koreska and company. So they have the horses, or they have the personnel.
They have the options, but they don't. I don't think they deploy the personnel in a way that you're going to win Champions League. You just simply not. I mean, playing Lima at right back. Lima is a midfielder. Conrad Lima is a midfielder.
But then, if it's just like we see with Rico Lewis at Man City when he does deploy.
Right.
Some of these players, then they start stepping into midfield. We saw with Gavadal doing the same thing sometimes. We saw Trent Arnold when Klopp was there, sometimes would push Trent into midfield. So, the ball game is so fluid right now. Centre backs are turned midfielder. Right and left back gone to midfield. Sometimes right back I end up in a number 10 role. I can't keep up. So, but I think the ultimate objective, just like with whether it's at Man City or at Bayern Munich, the philosophy remains the same. Create chances. And you only can score goals if you create enough chances.
Speaking of creating chances, Olise, Gnabry, Luis Diaz, and the king himself, Harry Kane, King Harry, they were dumb. At times it looked like to me like they were having fun out there. They were at times toying with Chelsea. Is there a better attacking front four in Europe right now? And yes, the next game is an option when we talk about Liverpool. So Liverpool fans, don't get your knickers in a twist right now. It's just a question. Just a question. Olise, Gnabry, Harry Kane, Luis Diaz. Is there a better front four?
Yeah, man. They're better teams. Liverpool front four when they settled in, better than that. Real Madrid front four, with Rodrigo when him get out time emotions in the right wing, and Vinny and Jude in the hole, and Mbappe. I mean, better than Listen, Kane has scored a bag of goals, and that's all. That's very admirable. But Kane still not elevate this Bayern Munich to win Champions League yet. So we remains to be seen. And so we don't want to put this front four on some sort of levels like them other ballers over there. So nah, man, them side there.
What,
And
what, the
only
what,
say, a man just left Crystal Palace and I come talk about best front. Yo, come on.
what the donkey said to the horse again?
I can't recall.
We're the world no level. Hey, speaking of front four and champions pedigree and knowing how to win and blah blah blah. Liverpool defeated Atletico Madrid 3-2. Benton, we spoke about this on the Sunday show, and also people remember check it out this Sunday at 5 p.m. for our weekly BCN Sport Ball Chat live show. Every Sunday we will cover the world in football at 5 to 7 p.m. or about them time there. But Liverpool defeated Atletico Madrid 3-2 today. I think this game was a game of two halves. Liverpool came out like gangbusters, went up 2-0. Atletico Madrid fought all the way back to try the game. And it was up to Captain Virgil van Dijk to find a winner in the last moments of the game. Liverpool fans aside, Liverpool haters aside, Benton, I'm going to give you the honor of being in the middle of both of them. You're not a Liverpool hater, you're not a Liverpool fan. Should there be some concerns around this Liverpool team now, or is it still until they are beaten, them a big side?
Well, yeah, I mean, big teams always pursue perfection. And, there's no real, teams that achieve things don't rest on their laurels. And Liverpool, though they're winning games, will tell you, Liverpool leadership will tell you there are things that they need to work on. And I think it's just, even if you're not, it could be an indication of how big teams roll. You don't need to play your best football and you win football games, or you may make a lead drop, but then you find that mentality, that grit to grind out and take the 3 points. Because I mean, this idea of comfort or ease in winning games is somewhat elusive when you don't play against. In fact, even Burnley sometimes is going to be difficult. But if you don't play against Manchester United, it's a little bit more competitive. So nobody now go just show up and make you turn them over so easily. And this is the game that many expected a very close encounter. We're a bit surprised, the way Liverpool started out.
Yeah, so what you said is all fair and good, and you made the right comments as a non-Liverpool hater and a non-Liverpool fan. But having a 2-0 lead at home, coming out with gangbusters against Atletico Madrid, and then the second half, Llorente comes out, tie the game. I think there are some. It's not warning signs, it's not alarm bells, but if it's a light, that if it's a warning, look, Manchester United warning light right now is blood red. But Manchester United warning light right now is bright like the sun, right? Liverpool's light, the filament start get a little bit warm. You see a little flicker in the light. It just a little bit of a flicker is in the light. Because you cannot be up 2-0 at home in the Champions League, knowing that you have to play Everton this weekend. Even though it's not a big, the Merseyside derby is not that big of a. It's not like, oh my God, we got to get ready to play against this side and blah blah blah. But there's something to be said about not being able to put away teams when you're up big or when you're up. And Liverpool have shown so far this year that they do have lapses in concentration. They do have lapses in games. Now, on the other hand, they also show that they know how to win when they need to. So I think the jury is still out. I don't consider myself a Liverpool hater. And newsflash, I don't consider myself a Liverpool fan. But as a football fan, I would say this team is either morphing into something similar to Real Madrid. When we saw Real Madrid had them little runs under Carlo. Remember, it's the same thing with Real Madrid, where they play some games, losing or playing bad, and find a way to come back and tie the game or take the lead. I would say, yo, that's Real Madrid. That is champion football. That is football royalty. Liverpool might now be creating their own form of Liverpool, of football royalty. You have the Royal Whites. This might just be the Royal Reds that we see coming. We will see. We will see, but I think the light is flickering a little bit. The Liverpool hater in me is saying the light might be flickering a little bit. There was an event, a moment in the game today. Diego Simeone had a bust up with the fans, and Simeone afterwards, when he asked about it, he said that something like he was simply fighting back, which insinuates that the man never fight me, they're gonna fight back. We saw this in the NFL when the Bills played against the Ravens last Sunday, when the fan pushed the Ravens wide receiver and quarterback. Lamar Jackson got pushed and Lamar Jackson retaliated. I can argue that the same thing happened today. Simeone had a moment with the fans as Simeone retaliated, but the fans were egging Simeone on. We've seen ugly incidents, most famously for me, the Eric Cantona bicycle kicker brother in his face, in his stance. You have any comment on this, Benton? Is the fans wrong? Should the fans show some restraint? Is Simeone making too much money to have to worry about that bust up with the fans? Is this a failure in the stewards at the field? Because we always say that all the time when a game is about to be finished. You always see the man them in them yellow coat come out and line the stands. Is this a failure in infrastructure? Are we making too much out of this? Is this just emotions? Is there a warning sign here? What's your take on this?
Maybe a one and done situation. I noticed Diego Simeone said he regretted his part in the whole thing, but he did say he's fighting back on behalf of managers or something regarding that as it relates to that. Football, or what do you call it, soccer in America, football, especially in the English Premier League and in other leagues, they've really prided themselves on giving fans that closeness. Fans are very close to the benches, and they can, shout or hurl whatever they want to do and start them talk. And I say all of that to say this. I mean, we cannot have these sort of emotions riding around with competitive coaches, competitive athletes, and don't expect a bust up or something gonna happen. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Especially fans talking a lot of trash. Some of them are drink beer from now. Whenever the insults them can get really nasty, and we all know that Cholo Simeone doesn't back and will not back from anyone. He's kind of a street fighter. So, I don't think this needs a policy change or need any sort of separation, because the stewards did what they needed to do. They prevented Cholo Simeone from getting into that crowd. and separated the two. And so the system works the way it's supposed to work. And Simeone will get a fine and I don't I mean I you can't do nothing to the fans. I mean insult or go get drop a ball game. You cannot regulate speech. You can't regulate speech in a ball game. So Simeone, I think the late goal, more than anything else, was probably grinding or hurting Diego.
Yeah. My 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 worry though is the retaliation. That's my worry. And retaliation in terms of fan base because and let me check. I'm looking at the schedule. Does Liverpool, because I know with the Champions League now you're doing with the home and away thing, which is another, which might end up being a saving grace right now in this case. And to what I'm seeing, I don't think Liverpool travel. Yeah, they don't. They're not going to travel to Marseille to Madrid to play Atletico Madrid, which is a good thing because one thing about Diego Simeone, he is connected to the fan base. Atletico Madrid fan base is Diego Simeone, and Diego Simeone is the Atletico Madrid fan base. And we saw with the Kahuna's gesticulation, or we saw what Cristiano Ronaldo did back to the fans to say, yo, I have the Kahunas. We saw that. And I was a little bit worried that if Liverpool was to go back to Atletico Madrid, those Liverpool fans would need some extra protection that night because Diego Simeone is a brother that will carry a grudge. And that rubs off to the fan base. And they would be waiting for them. So there would have been a little extra bag of liquid to throw at the fans when they come to the stadium. So I'm kind of happy there's none of that. And like I said, I hope it's a one and done. I hope they use this. I hope the Champions League use this as a sign to say, you know what? Let's put some little extra measures out there to protect the players and protect the fans themselves from themselves, right? So we'll see. But back to on the field, Alexander Isak made his debut. I know you probably didn't get to watch the entire game, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Alexander Isak looked the part. He did not look like he was missing time, or he did not look like he needed a honeymoon period to get used to he fits into this team, and that's dangerous. And for the first time this year, Mohamed Salah looks like Mohamed Salah. That just spelled trouble for Everton this weekend, Benton.
I personally just want to see Ekitike, Isaac, and Salah. Ekitike on the left wing and Isaac down the middle. I that's what I want to see. It's not all everything is perfect. This brother Florian Wirtz, at some point they have to make a decision. If he doesn't continue, if he's not contributing at the level, do you bench him and then put Mark in the McAllister in the 10? They do have options in that regard. But I hope this weekend we get to see Ekitike on the left side, Isaac down the middle, and Mohamed Salah on the right side.
And they did start with Cody Gakpo down the left side, who I think had a decent game. It was very effective, but Salah was the straw that stirred the drink. I think Alexis McAllister is the odd man out, unfortunately, right now. And I don't know. Maybe McAllister is not a slot player. I don't know.
I think, and I could be totally wrong because I can't predict the future, but I suspect next year Real Madrid is probably going to transfer him. I mean, a player, Real Madrid needs that type of player to kind of, rebuild this midfield. And so, Alexis McAllister is still young. What is he? 25? I don't
I'll
exactly
tell you in
know
a
that.
second, but 25
You know,
sound too young to me. He got to be older than
yeah,
25. Alexis McAllister is 26.
26.
He'll be
Yeah. So
27 this year.
okay. So I expect Real Madrid to sign him next year, and that so Liverpool, in probably fairness, they're probably preparing some of this is long term thinking too. Trying to make sure that Florian Wirtz cannot fail in that role. He must succeed, and so he will get all the opportunity to succeed in that role. You know, um, but yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, you have another game this weekend. A nasty game, a potentially nasty game, being the Merseyside derby. And so you may need a pit bull like Alexis McAllister in that ball game. I know he was coming back from an injury, so maybe he's also fully fit and fully good.
Yeah. And that's something that Slot said after the game too, that he was surprised that Alexander Isak's he was surprised at his fitness. Take that for what it's worth. So let's put a bow on Champions League this week. PSG PSG was just being PSG. And big up to El Pistolero. El Pistolero did tag us on this post where Lucho on the weekend went up in the stands to watch his team, and he was kind of El Pistolero was kind of angling towards. We saw Steve McLaren do something similar, and we clowned him for it. But Lucho on the internet is being praised for looking for that perspective to watch his team from a bird's eye view. Uh, Real quick, Benton, you have any comment on that? As PSG, they did defeat Atalanta 4-0. Atalanta plays a man-to-man, full man-to-man feel, and PSG just took advantage of it. But do you have any comments on Lucho with his bird's eye view, and is this going to be a new coach's wave?
I mean, kudos to El Pistolero for calling man like me to task. I hold him man like me to task because I was cloning Steve McLaren, and I think at the end of the day, in actuality, and at the end of the day, it's the coach. Whatever angle he or she needs to kind of be effective in that role. That's the angle that they should take. So, if I see Steve McLaren go back in the stands again, I will clone him again. But I will clone him with some more context.
Well, let me just.
Because I don't want to see Cimarron Garden on the bench around things.
Well, but let me play devil's advocate. And I don't know if there's a rule against this. And even if there's a rule against it, we don't have to go this far. But let's say that there's no rule. We don't have a no-fly zone over the field, right? People, it's 2025. Invest into a drone. You don't need to go up in the stands, go watch the game. Put a drone in the sky and stream to your cell phone and just watch your phone. I'm just saying.
You can't invade upon them TV rights space, brother.
TV rights.
Go
No,
on, go coach your side in the stands. Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, I envision sometimes, of course, from an elevated view. Well, Fabi is the coach. I'm sure sometimes, well, maybe sometime Coach Fabi goes in the stands to sit and watch his team play from an elevated view and get that.
Yo, that might be the case. That actually might be the case. I think you're onto something there, Benton. That might be the case. Well, yeah, go ahead.
And then how does Fabi? Fabi, once he he makes some recognize something when him call down. I'm send a man with a piece of tape or piece of paper with some notes to run down.
I have to be careful though, because if it's a hot day, you have to be careful writing in pen ink, because the man might have sweat when he go down, and then the sweat run on the ink and the pen become a blotch for the paper, and he look up to the coach and then hold up his shoulder like, brother, I don't know what is on the paper and I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well,
Wait,
yeah,
but
man.
there is something to be said about coaching perspective though, because and for a frame of reference, I've never coached football, but I've coached basketball, and it's different. Playing football versus coaching and directing in football will be different. Just like how playing basketball and coaching and directing in basketball is different. You have coaches out there that I call them either, and from a basketball reference, you can tell based on the way their team plays, they're either a sideline out coach, a baseline out coach, or half court out coach. They are either a point guard mentality coach, or a forward or frontline mentality coach. And I think the same reference can be used for football, where a coach wants to get the full birds, and they call it the bird's eye view. Or in I think in soccer they call it all 22. In American football they call it the all 22. When I say I need game tape, give me the all 22 tape. That means I need to have a view where I see all 22 players on the field at the same time. That's how you can look at the team from a holistic view. And that to me shows how much of a control Lucho wants to have on his team in PSG. That's why I will give him a pass, because I can at least identify some semblance of a strategy that is being employed when he is coaching PSG. When Jamaica is playing, Mr. Steve McLaren go up in the stands and come down, and Jamaica no change. So I'll leave it at that. But for the games tomorrow, again, Bayer Leverkusen will play against one no-name team. Club Brugge plays against Monaco. Newcastle plays against Barca. Man City plays against Napoli. Frankfurt plays against Galatasaray. Sporting plays against FK Kairat. Benton, you only have one TV channel, one TV, one remote. You can only watch one game tomorrow. Newcastle versus Barca, or Man City versus Napoli.
It has to be that Man City versus Napoli game. I mean, I don't know which Man City going to turn up. And this is on the heels of the big game against Arsenal. So, watching Man City closely over the next, 4 days? 5 days?
Yeah.
You know, so this is a huge week for Pep Guardiola and Man City. Now, remember last year, Man City struggled immensely, not just in the Premier League, but also in the Champions League.
Yep.
Conceding goals late, to teams that many thought they would have disposed of. So, this is a new chapter, a new journey, a new season for Pep. Of course, with Napoli, you have, Antonio Conte and, this Napoli team. I mean, I want to know, say, if Man City make Hodgland come score upon them tomorrow, then forget a beating.
Hodgland, if Man City let Kevin De Bruyne come back to the Etihad and ball them deserve a beating.
Well, I think that will happen.
You're crazy. Roger, I'll kick him on them clot. Guarantee. As we go back to check out Amazon Warriors. They are 157 with one ball remaining. Why St. Lucia Kings win this easy? Money can make 160. Easy.
The game is in Guyana, so right now the Guyanese Obiaman them work hard to defend this total. 158 is required to win by the St. Lucia Kings. So any number can play, but don't be surprised if the Guyanese find a way to win it.
Meh. All right, but that's it. That's it for Champions League, and watch your space. Watch your space because it'll be nice. It'll be nice. Tomorrow, Napoli, Pep Guardiola, Kevin De Bruyne, Antonio Conte, Rasmus Island, Man City playing 3 big emotional games in a space of 7 days. As I pull up the English Premier League schedule for this week, the game of the week, Arsenal versus Man City Sunday. We're doing a watch along at 11:30. I think time change this week in England too, so they have a time change this week in England, I believe.
Oh, so at 12:30 that for you then?
I think they're still doing it. I think
We'll figure it out Sunday.
we'll figure it out Sunday. But whenever the game start, that's when we're going to do it. But I could be wrong, but I think they have time change this weekend. But with that being said, 3 highly emotional games for Man City. I am going to count the Manchester Derby as an emotional game. No, and the game is at 11:30, same time. But I'm going to count the Manchester Derby as an emotional game, even though it's an easy game for Man City. Though they're going to play against Kevin De Bruyne and the man that they owe a statue to at Etihad, and then they have to travel to Emirates to play against Arsenal. Can Pep navigate this part of the schedule with this team, this current Manchester City, Benton?
I mean, he has to. This is his team that he built. One thing I will say, if they come out not if they lose both games, then there will be the return of the panic central like last year. I would suspect that the Premier League game would be the priority, knowing that they've already suffered defeats in 2 Premier League games, Brighton and Tottenham. So you can't really lose any more Premier League games right now for Man City. And with that being said, because the Premier League game is the priority for this week, if I'm Pep Guardiola and thinking along the lines, then this Napoli game, I mean, you don't force a Rodri. You don't, you go with Nico Gonzalez. You tell Ryan, in fact, you tell Soft Soap Rangers to go play, since this is his softness sort of deal. And you try to save your horses. Because Sunday's game is monumental. I mean, imagine you would have, if you suffer a defeat on Sunday, you would have lost 9 points already.
Wow. As let me pull up the standings. I think the standings is up to date.
And it's not unusual. Well, maybe this is a far-fetched statement. It's not unusual, if my memory serves me right, for Pep's tenure at Man City to start slow in the beginning of the season.
Right.
But you cannot bank on Liverpool dropping points to this level. Because I don't really count Arsenal in this, because until Arsenal prove me otherwise, then I can take them seriously.
Gotcha. So and I have the standings up. So Man City right now currently in 8th position on 6 points. Liverpool have doubled them up, standing with 12 points. Big games starting this weekend to start the game to weekend off in the English Premier League. The Merseyside Derby at Anfield, Liverpool versus Everton, and the weekend closes with Arsenal versus Man City. 2 huge games. Man City will go into their game knowing where they stand and how much of a ground they will give up if they were to lose. Arsenal also will know where they stand and how much ground they will have to gain if they lose to Man City. So a lot riding on this game. Real quick, we have West Ham playing against Crystal Palace. Man U plays against Chelsea. Liverpool plays against Everton, like we just said. Brighton hosts Tottenham. Bournemouth hosts Newcastle. That's a foregone conclusion. But for all these games, Aston Villa travels to Sunderland. What if you were to predict a surprise that's going to come out on Ball Chat Sunday show, Benton? What do you think you're going to forward on the show and say, you know what? I did not see this coming based on the schedule. What is there anything that you can see that you're going to say, I didn't see this coming. We didn't see Tottenham running Man City off the field. Yeah,
Actually, we saw, those who watch football saw that coming.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, we're not gonna sit down and say why we didn't see it coming. Those who watch football saw it coming. I expect, I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Everton takes something out of this Merseyside derby. Knowing how Everton is playing, knowing how and what David Moyes has done with this Everton team and how he has kind of revitalized this club. And I want to say last year, when they played each other, they ended 2-2. And I think Everton scored at the death, but that was at Everton.
That was the last game at Goodison Park.
Goodison Park. So, because Everton is defensively a solid team under David Moyes. They do have a bit of concern with Beto because he sometimes misses sitters, but they will be competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a point out of this game from Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised.
So you wouldn't be surprised if for me, I would not be surprised if Man U runs Chelsea off the field this Saturday. I would not be surprised if we come back Sunday and we say, is this a turning point for Ruben Amorim? I would not be surprised if Man U runs Chelsea out the field. And I'm basing that off what I saw today with Bayern Munich. No, Manchester United have nowhere near the talent that Bayern Munich has. But I think they are set up in a way that will catch Chelsea off guard. And Chelsea has a way to just play God awfully slow. And if you stop Cole Palmer, you can stop Chelsea. I wouldn't be surprised, Benton, if we forward Sunday and Mabosi.
No, that not gonna happen. I hopefully Estavio will be back healthy, and I would love to see Estavio done, rinse, repeat, Luke Shaw over and over again Saturday afternoon. I think for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca he seems to have this desire to play Reece James in midfield. He played him today. I don't know why. I think he did remark one time that Reece James is a midfielder. This is not the time for you to do them experimentation foolishness. You're right back, play right back.
Yeah.
You have midfielders. You don't have a shortage of midfielders in that department. Play the midfielders.
I think he needs to keep him on the field. And I think play him at midfield. I think Reece James is done as a wing-back. He cannot play. He doesn't have the legs to play wing-back anymore. He doesn't have the fitness to play wing-back anymore. He's injury-prone.
Transfer him out then.
Well, he's the captain.
Transfer him out.
He's the captain, and that's the problem. But
what do you mean captain? Captain can't get transfer.
No, not this. No, you risk the fabric of your team. But this game Saturday, that would be the perfect game for him to play midfield in because Manchester United don't have a midfield. So he could get some joy playing midfield. We'll see. We will see. One last question I don't want to ask you before we take ourselves and go to JPL and then cut off the show. West Ham plays against Crystal Palace. Aston Villa travels to Sunderland. I did say it's a foregone conclusion. But what is the most likely to happen? Graham Potter gets it right versus Crystal Palace, or Unai Emery's vision starts to take shape against Sunderland, or probably neither. Which one do you think is more possible?
I mean, Crystal Palace are beat West Ham. So Graham Potter vision and take no shape. I mean, West Ham are who we think they are. It's a bug side, and the coach is a bug. I see Aston Villa, Sunderland, Unai Emery sees this as an opportunity to get things back in order. Newly promoted team. Now, granted, they did defeat West Ham in the opening week 3-0. But I think for Unai Emery, they can use the victory and use, most importantly, a 2 to 3 goals because they've been struggling to score goals. So somebody needs to slip in at the penalty box and hopefully VAR give a penalty so Ollie Watkins can score a penalty and get his mojo or confidence going. I also have him in my fantasy team, so it's either I need to score this weekend or I'm going to drop him.
There was always an agenda there.
So
Always.
I mean, Unai Emery and Aston Villa, this is big game for them to kind of take those 3 points and start get the goal scoring and West Ham are bug side, man.
All right, so we'll see. Big games this weekend. Do remember we have a watch along this Sunday at 11:30 a.m. We'll be watching the Arsenal versus Man City game, student versus teacher. Big game this weekend. As we transition over now to the Jamaican Football League, the JPL, Jamaican Premier League. This week, round of games, Harbourview and Mount Pleasant has been postponed. I needed to check and see why that game was postponed. But they've already announced that game is going to be postponed. Tivoli plays Moulins. Dunbeholden and hosts Racing. Cavalier plays against Treasure Beach. Portmore United plays against Montego Bay United. Chapelton, the Maroons of Chapelton plays against Spanish Town Police in a get-right game for Chapelton. Arnett Gardens plays against Waterhouse. That is the prime time game Monday at 6 p.m. What I want to talk about, though, we talk about the Jamaican Premier League as I pull up the table here. Currently, Montego Bay United is leading on 10 points. They had 3 wins, 1 draw. Racing has played 3 games. They are undefeated so far. The big boys themselves, Cavalier and Benton's, where you keep that same name again, Benton? When I talk about that idiot, when I talk about Moulins. But Mount Pleasant and Cavalier. Mount Pleasant is sitting on 8 and Cavalier sitting at 9th. Racing United, well, I just want to revisit because you said on Sunday you hope Racing can keep this up. They are currently undefeated. What is there to look forward to this week? Can Racing maintain their 100% record, Benton? Or will Cavalier and Mount Pleasant finally start playing some football and get closer to the top?
I mean, Racing eventually I got drop points. I mean, this is uncharted territory for this side here. So right now, them want just I enjoy it. It's just like when some people go to gym weekend and them know say boy them have to go back to regular life. Monday. Them say, me just I go me outside already, me just I go live it up. And I think racing just have to take that approach. Game in, game out. Because any week, any day, they can just get them head beat off and they can return back to normal. Same thing when you go at dream weekend. Any day, since the game thing, and you have to return back to your normal life. So you're outside, you have to enjoy yourself. But the Cavalier Mount Pleasant game was streamed on One Love, and hopefully it was a productive partnership or start of productive partnership for the team, for these respective entities. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. I think Cavalier suffered a 2-1 defeat. So, I will say this: Tapper finally beat him man when it no matter.
And it was a
It
come
doesn't.
from behind win too. I think Cavalier was up 1-0, and I think Mount Pleasant came back and scored.
Such coaching, such high level coaching by Tapper that him a
Well,
beat him when it no matter.
well,
Yo,
but Rudolph Speed saved his best for the Jamaica game last week, so him get top of blind one.
okay, fair enough, because and I guess in there might be something to it that Tapper needed that victory for kind of maybe internally or maybe in the back room say, well, yo, this brother just have the number, so finally we can reclaim some of the some of our early domination or early victories over him. So let's see how it goes from here. But 2-1 victory, much needed for Theodore and his staff against
And
his
yep,
Cavalier too.
yep, and a big match. Arnett Gardens Waterhouse. Um, Nothing else to be said about that. That's a big game, regardless of the eras, regardless of the time, regardless of how the teams are doing. This is a big game, but it's even bigger now because I think both teams are tied on points. We're both sitting on 6 points. They both basically have identical records with Arnett Gardens, with Waterhouse having a superior goal difference. But they both 2 wins, 2 losses. Big game this week, Benton. Everybody is supposed to be at jungle. Ready.
My God, I think the entire Firehouse will be focused on Shelley and Fraser Price trying to get a gold medal. I think right now, Firehouse people, them, say side no good. I
Yo,
think
those are the views of Benton.
the
And
side no good. So right now, every year they might try to sort things out. But, that side, and then over jungle, the question still remains. It seems like Xavier Gilbert was the brainchild behind Jungle or Arnett's success because, I know the season just started, but Xavier Gilbert seems to be doing quite well over at Mobile United, whereas Arnett seems to be last another jungle, last at sea. I
they're,
mean,
they're, try,
how
they're trying to
Arnett fear
find
get
themselves.
what? How Arnett fear get fixed up by racing? Does that make sense?
Well, it's a race, and there's a Shellyan over Firehouse, so the other people are trying to run the wrong race too.
Something strange are going on, Junior. Something all right. Something all right.
Well,
And
look,
and
everything is upside down. You say Montego Bay United up top of the league. Xavier Gilbert left Jungle Ghana West. Ghana over there gonna take over the Western Island. Then you have Harborview flirting with relegation early. Racing and race themselves to the top undefeated. Like you said, something that go on, it will all shake out in the end. But I think Chapotan will be there in the end.
why not? At the end of the day, me joke and I make a lot of joke and clown around. But I think for any good league or any league, you want to have some level of parity.
Yes.
And if any other teams can advance the playoff, other than to the final, any other teams other than Cavalier and Mount Pleasant. So we don't want to see no trilogy. No, this is not the trilogy. I want 4 time now. We don't want to see that this year. We want to see some people from some other parts of the island, some other teams them in the final. Because then that will be a testimony, a representation that the game actually in other parts of the island are grow and are grow well. But the Manchester City of the Jamaican Premier League, aka Mount Pleasant, probably have something else to say about that because their transfer is quite high. And that's the thing that is strange to me because I thought Suli Makala, I don't know if he went to Belgium or gone to Belgium because I know there was a report that the ownership or owner of a Mount Pleasant bought a club somewhere in Belgium. And some players supposed to go over there to play, including the goalkeeper. So now how does that? And then of course you have some people from the other side that gonna come over here. So there will be some transfers back and forth, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I guess a man just have to go buy some club and move them players from one to the next so they can get them to Europe for a transfer fee.
Might as well. But we will see.
Yo, I saw Chelsea. Todd Bowley buy one side over here, so then he buy one next side over there, so then he buy part of Strasbourg in France, and then send a man over there, and then him try convince, buy a side over one next place. I guess this is what Gould at Mount Pleasant. This is the model that they're doing, So I'm never buy one side of Trinidad.
Yeah, we'll see. But for Teco itself, BM says Unai Emery and Vision couldn't be in the same sentence. I also said, are you surprised Warner Brown decided to remain in the JPL? It shows a lack of ambition in his opinion. Are you surprised, Warner Brown?
I mean, yeah, it has to be the right offer. I think for Warner Brown, it has, or any player for that matter, it has to be the right offer. We might hear about certain offers that come forward or was presented to the player, but it's not the right fit. I don't expect, if Warner Brown has another excellent year in the Premier League, I don't expect him to remain in the Jamaican Premier League. I mean, but this transfer thing too is not, sometimes it's not just sitting on. The man love yard, him like the vibes, and ultimately, imagine now you get a contract in England and you have to take up yourself, go over there to deal with that, the cold conditions, and start living a certain lifestyle, So it has to be the right fit. I don't know how Trevante Stewart is doing. In fact, I wish for Trevante there. Because one time in there, Celertina, and we don't say you're a bridging, Cephas, they go over Turkey, and then missing. I don't know. Where's Cephas now? In back over Turkey? It has to be the right fit. And I think with Warner Brown and his agent and the club that he's at, they want to make sure that when he leaves, he's in the right place.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, well said. And but before we take ourselves, Benton, we'll have to touch a little bit of the World Championships. So we'll have the 200 meters running soon, right? Or sometime later. Right, as I pull it up here. You did that? Like we lose Ben.
Yeah, may I look up the semi-finals, 200 meters tomorrow, 8:24 a.m.
Yeah,
and the men's semi-final, 8:02 a.m.
Yeah, and I have up the semi-final heats here. Just the start list.
Yeah.
So for the men, you think Jamaica have a chance?
In the men's 200 meter semi, 200 meter, this youth level, is a very talented athlete. I'm looking for Brian Lavelle. You know, his what PB is 1969. Um, it'll be a stretch for seeing on the podium still, but you don't know. I mean, maybe I drink some yam juice. Um, but the bottom line is the race is for my local chatty brother there.
Noah Lyles.
No allows,
Yeah.
yes. It's team race for lose. I mean, everybody else pretty much a run for other medals them right now.
And Noah does have a point to prove. He has he I would say that he failed in the 100 meter. Now we saw, like, I talk about Shannon Sharp, and Shannon Sharp said that try to make some excuse about Noah Lyles, saying that he's really not a 100 meter sprinter. 200 meter is really his race, and him barely run the 100. Him only run like 500 meter race, all kind of foolishness. So yeah, the stage is being set for Noah Lyles, and maybe it's a foregone conclusion. We'll see. For the
Yeah, I
women,
mean, but in actuality, I think that he's more a 200 meters runner, you know.
yes,
This 100 meter thing you know, he has a very good closing speed, but 200 is his specialty.
yeah,
Uh, you know. So me just look up where Javante.
yeah. BM posted it too.
Oh
I was
really?
going to tell you.
So Maccabi, have I asked this already? Are
So
Israel in there?
Trevante scored on Monday in the Israeli league. He has 3 goals in 7 games.
So why not fight at Israel? Oh, wait, over Palestine.
Benton, we're not. Look, listen, man. Them man know how to find we know.
Yo, but me I look on his the teams that he played for. He was at Salernitana, then Javor Ivan Jaka, Radnicki.
Man, they
Which
cuss
side
bad.
that? When was this? And then now he's at Israel. He played 13 games for Radnicki NIS. That sounds like my local man the tune.
Yo,
Send me Nicky go to school and the mother man Nicky found out.
mine they cuss bad out, brother.
You know, when signed him Radnicki over Serbia in a Serbian Super League. I didn't, yo. So Trevante was there from your agent at work.
I was just about to say about agent at work overtime. You literally take the words out of my mouth.
You can't go back a yard and build mama house, you know. Yeah, you cannot go back. So he was in Serbia 33 games and 13 goals. And you know, and yeah, and now he's in Maccabi Haifa over in Israel. Good for him. Good luck to him. I mean, just chat safely out the road, brother. Chat safely out the road.
Daddy. At the last one, what about the 200 meter women? Let me just divert. Sharika Jackson. If that no win, Benton.
I mean, Jacko a big athlete. I mean, she's a standard bearer in this business. I think the injuries caught up to her this season, and this is why probably Melissa Jefferson wouldn't won that 100 meter, the 100 meters. We have. She did look pretty decent. Sharika, that is. So maybe that's a good sign. Wait, let me go back through this field. Go back through the semifinals.
Where you want to know? Where is it there?
Yeah, so Sharika Jackson is running out of lane 7
Yeah.
in
Heat
in
one.
Heat 1.
And Ashanti Moore, he too.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know which Sharika it is. Of course, with the injuries and the layoff and trying to get right. Yeah, but I don't want them pressure Sharika right now because my focus is want a 4x1 goal for send Shelley and Fraser Price into the limelight, into the horizon with a gold medal around her neck. So
Yeah.
I don't want to pressure Sharika in this 200 meters, yeah. I want her to be fully loaded and ready for run. A magnificent corner upon the 4x1 sprint or whatever back stretch or whatever leg she run. That
And
that is my focus right now. So I don't really know how she gonna do in the 200. She will make the final, of course, but I don't really know how she gonna place.
And BM says Sharika Jackson is two-time defending champion in the 200-meter. Injuries last year slowed her down. Jacko is definitely a favorite for the medal. He also said that Lavelle ran 19.84, slowing down about around the 150-meter mark. So he definitely has to be a favorite. He also said that Trevante is doing well. I can't believe he didn't get a call for Jamaica. No, Brown man have that spot there now, you know. Kadibatari or whatever they want name. That's what they got, you know. Can't forget about the number 9 jersey for Jamaica. Forget about it. It's done.
So we just gonna use him and qualify for World Cup and then a PA Yardman we are call upon his side for go to World Cup.
No.
Trevante, Corey Bennett, Boza, all the Yardman them because we might as well go to World Cup, go enjoy ourselves and wish who which brown man can come from far and come lively up there, come nice up a place like Yardman.
Which
Come on.
yardman can fly from Jamaica and get visa for come play a World Cup in today's political climate? You know
Um,
what? We leave that alone.
Mexico,
But,
Mexico we are go. Mexico we are go. Right,
yo,
tell FIFA say make sure say we there Mexico.
well, like that, you know. Because I am not going to comment on the Mexican thing at all with what go on in the world. You can connect with us at Podcast on Instagram. You can also find us on Blue Sky at Ballchat Podcast, on Facebook at Ballchat. You can email us at ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. You don't know the people. BCN Halftime Show is a great show. Respect mental, you tough out the weather and tough out the fog. And forward same way. So and next week, on Sunday again, well actually Friday we have a watch along for cricket watch along. And then Sunday we have a watch along for the Arsenal versus Man City game, and then Sunday again at 5 o'clock right here. So tune
Plus
in.
plus 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 weekend watch along for relays. World Championship wrapping up, so we have to capture them relays because again we are sent off Shelly and Fraser
The right
with a
and
gold
proper
medal.
way.
Right and proper way.
Yep.
Even though she Arsenal fan.
Well, yeah.